TinkerCAD tips, welcome back. This is going to be part 2 where I am making 3 different projects in TinkerCAD using the custom font shape generator. If you haven't seen part 1, click on my bio up there, look back. It'll be probably the tutorial before this one. And what we're making here are 3 different things using that custom font shape generator. We have a key fob here. We have a straw topper. And then I have this phone cord cover, I guess. You can put your name on your own phone cord that is printed in 2 halves and slides together with this sort of bevel locking feature. So in part 1, we had made this down here. Let me go ahead and move all of these up out of the way. There we go. We had been working on this down here, which is actually 3 separate parts. We have the base of it. We have the text, which was made with the custom font shape generator, which you can find over here using the search. And then we also have this outline. So we're going to use this as the basis for all 3 of the things that we're going to make in TinkerCAD. This is going to be part 2. This may go into a part 3 as we make the phone cord name tag. So let's select all of this up here. Let's start by making the key fob first. I'm going to select all of this, Control D to make a duplicate. I want to save that up there for our other 2 projects. Let's come down here. Let's go ahead and select on the name and that outline, and I'm going to drag those up a bit. Let's make this backing just a little bit thicker. It's at 2 millimeters now. Let's make it 3 millimeters. There we go. Zoom in. I'm going to use W, the keyboard W, to put the work plane on top of that. And then I'm going to select both the text and that outline using the Shift key and drop those back onto that. W, put the work plane back on the default. Now we're going to use this shape out here, this ring, to make the ring part of it. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift. Let's scale this down just a little bit. Say about there. We can size this down. Let's make it about 2.9 millimeters. We'll make it a little bit lower than this blue part here. Using the cursor keys, I have my snap grid here set to 1. Let's move that down to 0.1. Give it a little more control here. Let's move that in. Let's see if that's where we want that. Let's go this way with it a little bit. And out. Okay. Now while that's selected, let's change the radius or the wall thickness of this to be 3.5. There we go. The walls are a little thicker. While that's selected, I'm going to shift select the background here. Let's union group those together by clicking up here or Control G. Let's change that back to that dark blue. Now, as it stands, you could select all 3 of these parts and export those as an OBJ file, unzip the file that you get, and then import that OBJ into, say, Prusa Slicer or Bamboo Studio. And then it should ask you how you want to assign the color of each of the 3 parts. You could also select all of these, Control G, union group them together. I'm going to make this multicolor. So, export this as just a regular STL, and then in the slicer you then might be able to paint these parts. Or on a regular FDM printer you could inject filament change at layers. So for instance, when the blue part ended and you got up into the text or this outline, you could then swap the filaments to whatever color you wanted. Alright, so that's the key fob. Let's make another copy of this back here. Control D. Let's work on our straw topper here. Let's zoom in. I'm going to Shift deselect the background, and I'm going to lift up the text and the outline again. And to do a straw topper, we want this background to be a little bit thicker. So let's drag this up. Let's make it, say, 14. There we go. Zoom in, I'm going to hit W, get the work plane back. All right, now I'm going to shift or lasso select the text in the outline. We'll drop those. Let's put our work plane back on the default. All right, now we need to cut a hole through that. So we're going to bring out a whole cylinder here. Alt-Shift, I'm going to click on a corner. Now this will be dependent upon the size of your straw. I'm going to put in, let's say 9 millimeters. I think all straws are different sizes depending. In fact, let's make this 7.5 just for the heck of it. Let's make this a little bit taller. Now while holding shift, I'm going to grab the rotation handle here and I'm going to spin that over 90 degrees. While it's selected, I'm going to shift select the background part here and hit L for a line. I'm going to center that direction. Let's click on that blue part there. Make sure it's the boss and it doesn't move. I'm going to center in this direction, and down here I'm going to center up and down as well. Let's click on that. Let's make it a little bit longer so that it's poking out this other side. Now you want to make sure that that's where you want to have it. Now we can lasso select the two of those, or I can select on that cylinder and shift select the background. Control G to union group. There you go. You have your hole cut in it. And as before with the key fob, you could export the three of these as an OBJ so that you could more easily work with them in Prusa or Bamboo. Or you could group them together and just simply do a filament change at layer. Now, with this, you're going to probably have to have a little bit of tree support under here to support the top part of this. Or in some cases, what people will do just to make sure that this is round, let's click on that bottom part there. Let's go ahead and for the moment, I'm going to ungroup that. Quite often what people will do in order to account for some of the sagging that goes on with circles is they'll make this whole cylinder a little bit taller in the vertical here. So right now we're at 7.5. Some people will drag this up a little bit. I'm at just a little bit over 8 there. That'll account for some of the sagging to make sure that it's a little more true. Then they'll union group that instead. So we're about at the end of part 2 here. Join me for part 3. If you need to find part 3, you can obviously click on my bio. Hopefully it'll be the tutorial after this one. And on the next one, we're going to cover how to make this phone cord name tag, I guess it is. As always, like, follow, and repost. If you have any questions or comments about this particular tutorial, you know where to drop those in the comments, or if you have ideas for other TinkerCAD tips and tutorials, drop me a DM. Till the next time, happy tinkering. See you on the next one.